Bruce Lee, the legend who transformed martial arts and cinema. Early life and family background. Bruce Lee entered the world in San Francisco in 1940, born into a family that straddled two distinct cultures and worlds. His childhood, however, would be shaped not by the American city of his birth, but by the vibrant streets of Hong Kong, where his Chinese mother and Eurasian father raised him in an environment rich with tradition and modernity. Growing up in this cosmopolitan colony, young Bruce was immersed in the martial arts from his earliest years, absorbing the philosophies and techniques that would later define his revolutionary approach to combat. Simultaneously, he found himself captivated by the magic of cinema, spending his formative years watching films that sparked his imagination and inspired his dreams of stardom. This unique blend of martial discipline and cinematic inspiration during his Hong Kong upbringing would prove instrumental in shaping the legendary figure he would become, creating the foundation upon which he would build his extraordinary legacy. Bruce Lee, the legend who changed martial arts forever. Bruce Lee's journey into the martial arts world began in Hong Kong, where he became a student of the legendary Ip Man, a master of Wing Chun Kung Fu, whose reputation preceded him throughout the region. From his earliest days in the training hall, Bruce demonstrated an almost supernatural quickness and precision that set him apart from his peers, his movements a blur of controlled power that seemed to defy the limitations of the human body. As a young student, he immersed himself completely in the discipline, spending countless hours perfecting each technique and exploring the deeper philosophy behind every strike and movement. His dedication was absolute and unwavering. While other students came and went, Bruce remained, earning the distinction of becoming one of Ip Man's most devoted and accomplished pupils, a status that would lay the foundation for everything he would eventually achieve in transforming martial arts from an ancient tradition into a modern global phenomenon. Bruce Lee, the martial artist who changed cinema. In 1959, Bruce Lee made the pivotal decision to relocate to Seattle, Washington, where he could pursue higher education and escape the constraints of his Hong Kong upbringing. It was in this Pacific Northwest city that he established his first martial arts school, where he began teaching his innovative fighting methods that blended traditional Chinese kung fu with Western boxing techniques and philosophical principles he had developed over years of study and experimentation. As his reputation grew within the martial arts community, Lee's charisma and unique approach caught the attention of television producers, leading to appearances in various television shows and small film roles that would gradually introduce him to a broader American audience and set the stage for the international stardom that would follow in the coming decade. During the mid-1960s, Bruce Lee embarked on a transformative journey that would fundamentally reshape the landscape of martial arts forever. Rather than confining himself to the rigid traditions of a single discipline, Lee synthesized techniques from multiple martial arts systems, drawing from kung fu, boxing, wrestling and fencing to create something entirely unprecedented. Jeet Kune Do, literally the way of the intercepting fist. This revolutionary philosophy rejected the ornamental flourishes and ceremonial aspects that had calcified traditional martial arts, instead championing principles of efficiency, directness and, well, brutal pragmatism in combat. Lee's genius lay in his insistence that martial arts should be a personalized expression of the individual practitioner, rather than blind adherence to established forms. He famously encouraged students to absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. By stripping away unnecessary movements and emphasizing speed, timing, and economy of motion, Jeet Kune Do represented not merely a new fighting system, but a complete philosophical reimagining of what martial arts could be. A living, breathing discipline that valued function over tradition and adaptation over dogma. Bruce Lee. Legend who changed martial arts cinema. Bruce Lee's ascent in Hong Kong cinema during the late 1960s and early 1970s marked a transformative moment not only for his career, but for the entire action film industry. After returning to Hong Kong from America, Lee starred in several successful action films that showcased his extraordinary physical abilities and charismatic screen presence, quickly establishing him as a box office draw across Asia. His breakthrough role in The Big Boss, that was back in 1971, catapulted him to international stardom, introducing Western audiences to a performer of unprecedented skill and intensity who could carry a major motion picture with his dynamic presence alone. What truly set Lee apart from his contemporaries was his revolutionary approach to martial arts choreography on screen. He abandoned the wire work and exaggerated movements that had characterized previous kung fu films, instead demonstrating combat techniques with breathtaking speed, precision, and realism that had never been captured on film before. His seamless blend of authentic martial arts mastery with compelling storytelling created a new template for action cinema, one that would influence filmmakers and martial artists for generations to come, and establish him as a global icon whose impact transcended entertainment to touch popular culture itself. Bruce Lee, the legend who bridged East and West. The early 1970s marked a truly transformative period in Bruce Lee's career, as he secured major Hollywood contracts that would, at last, position him as a leading figure in Western cinema. Building on the momentum of his television success, Lee took creative control by writing, directing, and starring in The Way of the Dragon in 1972, a film that really showcased his multifaceted talents, both behind and in front of the camera. This ambitious project demonstrated not only his exceptional martial arts prowess, but also his vision as a filmmaker, featuring the now iconic fight sequence at the Colosseum in Rome. Through this groundbreaking work, Bruce Lee achieved mainstream recognition in Western cinema that had eluded him, despite years of persistence and training, finally breaking through the racial barriers that had limited Asian actors in Hollywood and establishing himself as a global superstar whose influence would honestly transcend the boundaries of martial arts films for generations to come. Bruce Lee, the martial artist who changed the world. Bruce Lee's legacy extends far beyond his lifetime, fundamentally transforming how martial arts are perceived and practiced across the globe. He revolutionized martial arts training and philosophy by rejecting rigid, traditional approaches, and instead advocating for a more fluid, adaptive methodology that emphasized personal expression and continuous evolution, a philosophy encapsulated in his famous concept of be like water. This innovative approach resonated with generations of martial artists who followed, inspiring them to question conventions and develop their own unique fighting styles rather than blindly adhering to established forms. Beyond the dojo, his influence permeated the film industry, where he single-handedly established new standards for action cinema that remain influential decades later. His explosive on-screen presence and groundbreaking fight choreography set a benchmark that countless filmmakers have attempted to replicate but rarely equaled. From renowned action directors to contemporary martial arts stars, the imprint of his vision is unmistakable, as he demonstrated that martial arts films could be vehicles for genuine artistry, cultural significance, and philosophical depth rather than mere spectacle. Through his teachings, movies, and writings, Bruce Lee created a ripple effect that continues to influence not only martial artists and filmmakers, but also anyone seeking to transcend limitations and unlock their full potential. Bruce Lee, a life of innovation and transformation. Personal philosophy and teaching. Bruce Lee's most enduring legacy extended far beyond his physical prowess in martial arts. It resided in his unwavering commitment to continuous self-improvement and the relentless pursuit of personal evolution. He famously believed that stagnation was the enemy of greatness, constantly challenging himself to adapt his techniques, refine his philosophy, and expand his understanding of combat and life itself. Rather than becoming enslaved to rigid martial arts forms and traditions, Lee revolutionized how martial artists approach their discipline by emphasizing the paramount importance of understanding the underlying principles that governed effective movement and technique. His teaching methodology was revolutionary precisely because he encouraged his students to think critically, to question established dogma, and to forge their own paths rather than blindly mimic their instructor. Through his infectious dedication and innovative approach to instruction, Lee didn't simply teach fighting techniques. He inspired a generation of students to view martial arts as a gateway to self-discovery and personal mastery. His classrooms became laboratories of experimentation, where ancient wisdom met modern athletics, where tradition intersected with innovation, and where every student was challenged to transcend their perceived limitations and become, in his own words, like water in their ability to adapt and flow. Bruce Lee, the dragon who changed everything. Bruce Lee's unexpected death in 1973 at the tragically young age of 32 sent shockwaves through the world, leaving behind a legacy that would only grow stronger with time. Though his life was cut short, his impact proved immeasurable and enduring. Bruce Lee transcended the realm of martial arts to become a cultural icon whose influence extends far beyond the cinema screen or the training hall. Decades after his passing, his revolutionary techniques and philosophical approach to combat continue to shape the way modern martial artists train, think, and compete, with his principles of efficiency, adaptability, and self-improvement embedded in countless fighting styles and practices worldwide. From mixed martial arts to traditional kung fu, from Hollywood blockbusters to YouTube tutorials watched by millions, Lee's fingerprints remain visible on virtually every corner of martial arts culture, cementing his status as not merely a legend of his era, but as a timeless figure whose ideas seem to grow more relevant with each passing generation.